I may not be an RVer, but I lived on the road for years. What's up, blind viewers? How's everybody doing today? All right, so what right do I have to talk about the RVers, van dwellers, the wheeled wonders, if you will? Well, I may not be an RVer. I may not live in RV campgrounds. I may not live in a van, but I did. Yes, that's right. I did live on the road for years and years. And then I took a break from that, and then I kind of did it again. So yeah, I may not be the RVer who lives in my van or hangs out in quartzsite in the wintertime, but I do know a little bit about living on the road and some things that you got to deal with, and going from place to place and traveling and living out of a suitcase. And I took auto mechanics, so I know the mechanical part of things, how things work. One of my jobs was a maintenance man. Now, it doesn't always equate to RVs, but I did minor plumbing, electrical, hung drywall, did roofing, all kinds of silly stuff. Concrete for sidewalks, trim trees, I mean, you name it. So when it comes to the RV life, yeah, I may not have lived it, but I know a lot about it. And the other thing is I started talking about all the RVers for one reason and one reason only, because I was interested in maybe doing it one day. Well, I can still see a little bit going out and doing the RV thing and traveling and seeing all kinds of things while I could still see. So I started watching the YouTubers, and what is this? What is that? What's a black tank? What's a gray tank? What is this? What's Class A? What's Class B? What's Class C? What is the difference? What do they do? What's a travel trailer? What's a fifth wheel? All this. So I started watching, and I started learning, and I watched and I watched and I watched. Well, the more I watched, the more I was, let's just say it wasn't for me. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that anybody shouldn't do it. And that's the difference. Not a lot of, not all, and again, not everybody, but a lot of the channels you see, and they say, quit your job, sell your house. If you live in sticks and bricks, you're dumb. See, that's not me. I'm not the one that says, if you're not doing it my way, it's not the best way. So therefore, whatever I do is the greatest thing since sliced bread. If you're not doing it, you're wrong. Well, I'm just here flapping my gums and giving you my opinion. But the whole thing is I learned about all these things, and I still learn. So I probably know, more than half the people that are out there. When things break down, what it is, how it works, and other things, because I actually studied this crap. Towed vehicles, which ones you can and which ones you cannot tow. 4 wheels down, which ones you need the trailer, which ones you can put just 2 wheels up and drag it around. All this stuff I researched all this stuff, the difference between the Class A's, B's, C's, and all the other stuff. But anyway, so that's why I talk about the nomads, because I just got involved in it. I kind of fell in one of those YouTube black holes. But some people have their opinions. Over the years, I've heard it many, many, many times. Trust me. You're not an RVer. You're not out here doing it. You're just sitting there in your mommy's basement making YouTube videos. Well, let me tell you something. First of all, I worked for a moving company, and I worked for an over-the-road trucker that worked for the moving company. So I worked for the moving company, but I actually worked for the trucker. That's right. I was a bed bugger. That's right. I have been to just about every single state. Well, in the continental United States. I've never been to Alaska. I've never been to Hawaii. And, but anyway, almost every state. I've been there. I traveled. I slept, ate, showered in truck stops, rest areas, wherever it is along the road that you park until you go. And I used to sleep, not in the sleeper. The driver slept in the sleeper, but I would take the the decking bars in the back. See this bar right there that goes from the side to side of the trailer? Well, I would take 2 of those and I would space them out and I would put moving blankets and make like a hammock. And that's where I slept. Yes, hanging in the trailer between decking bars on moving blankets. And then, yeah, you'd wander into the truck stop or whatever and take a shower and do all that good stuff. And I got paid for working, but I also got paid a small hourly wage for window time. Window time is sitting in the seat staring out the window as we drove. I did not have my CDL, so therefore I could not drive. Well, I did once in a while, but we won't talk about that, will we? But anyway, so I know what it's like to be out there driving, having an actual time to get to a destination. Sometimes you get someplace and they didn't want you to deadhead back, which was with an empty load. So you kind of hang around and until they got you something close by that you could go somewhere else. And I was out for months at a time. And when I would come home, when I would get home, I would be home for a week. If I was lucky, 10 days, and then we'd be gone again. Now, I was younger. I was single. I didn't have any responsibilities or anything. It was just me. So, I was built better, in better condition. So I didn't mind being on the road. It didn't bother me at all, living out of a suitcase and going from state to state and city to city and seeing all the sights and everything. And when we did have some downtime, wherever we were in the country, going around and eating the local food and seeing the sights, and it was fun. It was interesting. Now again, I wasn't traveling around at my leisure on a perpetual vacation. And no, before anybody says anything, I'm not talking about retirees. I say it all the time. Retired people, look, you put in your time, you served your sentence, if you will. Your kids are raised, you managed to keep them alive, you worked, you did everything, you got your pension, you got your Social Security, whatever it is, you got your nest egg, and you're going out there and you're doing whatever the fuck you feel like, and more power to you. Go to it. Happy for you. But, just to be meandering around aimlessly, making YouTube videos, and a lot of people, not all, but a lot of people with their hand out support my lifestyle because this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I don't have 2 nickels rubbed together. So you watch my videos and you support this great lifestyle for me. I know you got bills to pay, but that's because you're stupid and you live in a house. And no, not everybody. I'm not lumping everybody into that. But when you watch these people, there's a lot of folks that say stuff like that. But back to why I talk about people traveling, and I know what parts of the country do this, what parts of the country do that, what parts of the country have what kind of people, and where you should go, where you shouldn't go, and what things are like, and what happens when you break down, and what you got to deal with when you break down, what you got to deal with when you are on the road traveling, and all of a sudden something happens, like I talked about the other day because I saw Bunny's video. You make some purchase and all of a sudden your bank goes ding, 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 ding. Oh, we're going to flag that. Why is somebody using your, and then all of a sudden they cut your shit down. You got to get a hold of them. You got to prove who you are and you got to jump through all the hoops. And it's a good thing that they don't let people just run amok and spend all your money. But all these things, are on the road that I've dealt with. I've done. Where to get a shower. Now it's different when you're in a big rig. You just can't pull along the side of the street and take a nap. It's not like a van. But a lot of rest areas on the highway. You pull in. You learn not to park near the chicken the chicken haulers because they stink. You learn not to park near along with a refrigerated trailer, reefers as we call them, because they run all night. All night long. So you learn these little things. And again, we didn't sleep in Walmart parking lots or anything, but you just know, when you're in some of these commercial places, areas where it's a little shady and where if you want to wake up in the morning and still have tires on your truck and, and all that good stuff, not to be there. So yeah, I do know what it's like to live on the road and not be home for months at a time and live out of a suitcase. And then later on in life, I worked for a company, and we did a fire hose and ground ladder testing in 6 different states. Yes, one of the states was here in Pennsylvania, so I was home sometime. And it was a seasonal job. It was when the weather was warm. You weren't out there doing it when the snow was flying and all that other good stuff. But when the weather was decent, we were out there. And it was a lot of the time for the work week. Yes, I lived out of a suitcase. Now, this was different. I wasn't gone, and I slept in hotel rooms. But you get up and go to work on Monday, and you take your suitcase, and you didn't get home until sometimes you would get home on Friday night. Sometimes you didn't get home until Saturday sometime, depending on where you were when you ended up. Now, that was a whole different thing. But again, living on the road, and this is what a couple guys, but we're in a truck, and what it is you go to these fire companies, and you get the fire trucks, and you strip all the hose off of them. There's the 5-inch, and there's lots of hand lines, everything. Every stitch of hose on that rig, you take it all off. You take it all off. And then you stretch it all out. You hook it up to a big manifold with a water supply, and you fill all the hoses with water, and you run them up to a pressure, and you test them according to an FPA standard 1963. That's right. And you walk the line, and you look for leaks and everything else, and you may have to fix a coupling, and you may have to fail a hose, and then all that good stuff. And then you go and you break them all down, let the water out, you break them all down, and you roll all the hoses up, and you pack them back on the rig, and put it all away nice and neat. And you put the rig back in service, and there you go. And one company with several different pieces of equipment, apparatus, as we call them, it could take a couple days. So we were in New York, Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and the Virginia and West Virginia. We tested hose in those 6 states. So, again, when we were in Pennsylvania, we usually came home. But if we were more than an hour away, we stayed overnight. So, yeah. Again, it's not like living in a van or an RV. You're in a hotel, so you could shit, shower, and shave and all that stuff. But you ate at restaurants and takeout and all that other crap. But the trucking days, yeah, there was some piss bottles involved and and other things, and a whole lot of sleeping in a rig wherever and doing things and washing your nasty ass wherever you could. But yeah, spending a lot of window time, like I said, driving from here to there. And sometimes you did make it in one long day. Sometimes you drove until you were tired and had to fill out the log books and all that stuff and pull over somewhere, and you never knew where you were going to be. So, yeah, I'm not out there doing it. Not now, but I know what it's like out there. I know what it's like to live on the road. I know what it's like to be gone from home for months at a time. I know what it's like to be gone from home when you have a family for the entire work week, the entire summer. Gone. Hardly home at all. If you're lucky, you got most of the day Saturday and Sunday. So, and again, the aspect, I used to work at Fruhoff. If you know what Fruhoff is, it's a trailer company. We built trailers for the big rigs, and I worked on line 1 final, which means I did a little bit of everything. There's a thing called a buck sheet. And as the trailer went around the line and got built, and it came to us, and it had a list that inspectors all the way around the line would make things. This rivet's missing, or bucked funny, or this doesn't work, and that, and this, and that, and that. And you would go down. So in other words, I didn't work at the spot where, we did sidewalls, or we did the flooring, or no, we had to learn everything, because as it came around, we had to repair everything. If it was incomplete, say, we ran out of mud flap brackets. Well, it went out into a big field. And then when the mud flap brackets came in, that's what we did on Saturdays and Sundays. I had one Sunday a month off. That was it. So we would get trailer and we'd just put mud flap brackets on all day, all weekend. And another time would be a landing gear piece or something. But anyway, so when I worked for the moving company and worked for that driver, if we would break down and do something, or, the little bit of mechanical knowledge, I was like, it's out of my wheelhouse, or we got to do this. Or if it was trailer related, the landing gear was stuck, or some lights went out, or the 7-way plug was all screwed up. I knew all that shit. I used to remember, I don't remember it now, but I knew the order of all the wires and a 7-way plug, the colors, it was brown, yellow, green, I knew all that stuff because I did it. And then auto mechanics, when I was an auto mechanic, when the second job, if the truck would break down, I could change a starter and do all that shit real quick and, diagnose stuff. Well, it's the battery, or it's the starter, or it's this, or, we got a coolant leak and it's that. So yeah, I know what it's like to be out there and have shit go wrong and have to deal with it. And again, you're out there and you never know what's going to happen. You're in a different place you're not familiar with, and people want to try to do things or puff up on you. Hey, you're not from around here, and all other shit. I know all about that, and I've had it happen again. You're in some different state, and your bank goes, "Whoa, we're gonna flag this thing," and now you're like, how in the hell am I gonna pay for this and that, and until you get it all straightened out, and you got to deal with all. So I do know a little bit of what I'm talking about, and so it's not just me in my mommy's basement, because I've been out of my mommy's basement for many, many years, trust me. But yeah, I talk about channels I like. I see things, somebody will say something in a video, it'll trigger a thought that I've seen many, many times over the years. And yeah, it may not always be nice. Oh, I just love the Nomads. Yeah, I do. I enjoy it. I think it's cool. If I could afford to keep the house and go buy a big old truck and go buy a trailer, or keep the house and buy a Class C and afford to do both, I would go run off for a month or so and then come back, with the wife and make Mrs. BV drive me around. But I can't afford it. And I would never sell everything and move and live full time in an RV. It's just not for me. Does that mean that everybody that's doing it is, oh, well, you're not doing what I'm doing? No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. But there are some, I'm not lumping everybody in, but there are those that I watch and listen to that, yeah, this is the greatest thing. If you're not doing it, you're dumb. Why would you pay the man? Why would you go to work? Why would you just waste all your time driving back and forth to work, and then 8 hours at work, and you slave to the man, and then you go home and all you do is you shower and sleep there, and you're just taking it in and putting it out. You're not doing anything. Quit all that and come out here and come find me in the desert. It's the greatest thing. All your troubles will go away. All your cares will vanish. It's just a carefree life. You can live your childlike wonder again. See, you hear that kind of shit. So if I say, hey, just because I'm living in the house doesn't mean I'm stupid, and I'm not lumping everybody in, but people do say that shit. And if you want to ignore it and say, oh no, we're all one big happy family and we are just wonderful community, and it is true, we skip around in our childlike wonder and nobody ever says that, you're full of shit. Well, I'll play you clips of people saying exactly that. So yeah, it's not going to be rainbows and sunshine all the time. But there are a lot of channels that I watch and I enjoy, and I do talk very good about lots of channels. But again, nobody likes to hear that. Oh, this channel's good. Who cares? Now, this guy's an asshole. Woohoo! Yeah, say more of that. And that's the way it is here on YouTube. So, YouTube isn't my life. I talk about what I want to talk about. I say what I want, when I want. If I feel like making a video every day, I will. If I don't, I won't. It's not my life. It's not what I aspire to be as a big YouTuber. No. This is just something for an old, worn out blind guy to do, to occupy some time. And I've met some pretty cool people, and I do enjoy it, but it's not what gets me up in the morning. So that's just a little bit of background. And yeah, I may not be out there doing it, but I've done it different ways. And I'm not just some lonely old blind guy sitting around doing nothing, because I wasn't always blind. And I led a very, very interesting life. I've done many things. I ran big light shows for bands. I ran small light shows for bands. I've worked at Fruhoff, built trailers. I went to school for auto mechanics. I tested again, 6 states of fire companies, tested their hose and their ground ladders. I did countless many things. I always had a job. I always worked, and I always took care of my responsibilities. So you're either going to watch me or you're not. But the one thing is I'm not going to change who I am. So again, you either watch or you don't. But the one thing I will say is this: you don't have to agree with me, because that's never the point here. The point is, this is Blind Views, and that's the way I see it.
What we do here is go back.